Hi, and welcome to Chapter 12, The Art and Science of Marketing for Foundations of Business. The learning objectives. Define marketing, Define marketing and explain its role in society. Identify 5 trends that help define contemporary marketing. Differentiate between consumer buying behavior and organizational buying behavior. Describe strategic marketing, planning, and identifying the 4 basic options for pursuing new marketing opportunities. Identify 4 steps in crafting a marketing strategy. Describe the 4 main components of marketing mix. Define marketing analytics and characterize its use in contemporary marketing. Marketing is the process of creating value for customers and building relationships with those customers in order to capture value back from them. Needs and wants are different. Needs are differences between a person's actual state and his or her ideal state. They provide the basic motivation to make purchases. You need food, you need water, you need some sort of transportation the majority of time in order to get water, food, or employment to purchase food and water, shelter, things like that. Those are your needs. They're your hygiene factors. They're your physiological and safety needs from Maslow. Okay, those are all needs. Wants are specific goods, services, experiences, or other entities that are desirable in light of a person's experiences, cultural, and personality. We have unlimited wants, but very limited needs. Exchange process, the act of obtaining a desired object or service from another party by offering something of value in return. Transactions and exchange of value between 2 parties. So, in our society, you have to work to make money. You can work in many different formats for the most part. Talking about legal law-abiding people. So you work to make money. You make so much money per hour or per day or per year, however you get paid. And it's either hourly or salaried, commission, what have you. So you have to evaluate how much effort you put in to make a certain amount of money, and then you look at objects or goods or services that cost a certain amount of money, and in your mind, either consciously or unconsciously, you're deciding, is that something worth all the effort it took you to make that money? So if you make $100,000 a year and something costs $5, it really doesn't take a lot of effort to decide whether you want it or not, and then if you should buy it or not. However, if you make $15 an hour, and then taxes take, $3, $4, $5 of that, $5 an hour is almost a half hour's worth of work for you after taxes. So what you're buying for $5, in your mind you're thinking, that's about a half hour of work. Is this object or service for $5 worth a half hour of my work? And then you have to decide if the value of the item or service is greater than the value of how much time and effort it took you to make that money. Okay? And that's how we decide whether to purchase something or not. So obviously, if something is given to you, you just get $500 as a gift, there isn't a whole lot of evaluation because it was a gift. So anything that you want that's $500 is fine because it didn't take anything to earn it. However, if you have to work for it, then the harder you have to work for that amount of money, the more time people normally take in evaluating whether it's worth the exchange. Okay, utility is the power of a good or service to satisfy a human need. So is the value or utility worth the money? Marketing concept. An approach to business management that stresses customers' needs and wants, seeks long-term profitability, integrates marketing with other functional units within the organization. And so let's go on here. Relationship marketing focuses on maintaining long-term relationships with customers. Okay, so the one I always like to use is your hairstylist. Most people don't switch hairstylists very often. And it's one of the hardest things to find after you move. I've lived in 7 different states and 20 some different towns or cities. And the hardest thing is to find a doctor, a dentist, and a hairstylist, because those are the people that you build up the long-term relationships with, and you never think about switching unless something happens, like you move out of state. Customer loyalty, degree in which customers are continued. Obviously, if you have a long-time relationship with them, you're loyal and you keep buying from them. If you don't, then you switch. It's another reason why car salespeople have such a low value or a low opinion in the public sector in consumers' minds, because every time you go to buy a car, it's usually a different person, and the person that you bought one from last time is long gone. So there's no long-term relationship there. It's also why in colleges, recruiters are one of the most vital parts of marketing for the college or university, because they need to build up a long-term relationship with all the career counselors and all the public school and private school, high schools administration, so that the administration and the counselors speak positively towards that school because of the positive relationship they have with the recruiter. If you're constantly changing recruiters, if you have a high turnover in recruiters, then this long-term relationship can never be built, and your school can never establish a long-term relationship with the other school, the university with the high schools. Okay, so here we are. Selling concept, factory, existing product, advertising and selling, profits through sales volume. Marketing concept, marketing, profits through customer satisfaction, customer needs, and conversational communication. Challenges in contemporary marketing involve the customer in the marketing process, marketing data-driven decisions, conducting marketing activities with greater concern for ethics and etiquette. Okay, so involving customers, customer relationship management, type of information system that captures, organizes, and capitalizes on interactions that a company has with its customers. Okay, so this system, many times it has to, or isn't integrated with social media. And if you, like, I was just at Home Depot, before I even left the parking lot, I getting a message, how did you like Home Depot? Okay, what was your experience there? Okay, so they're integrating the customer relationship management in with social media and electronic media. Social commerce, creation of sharing of a product related information among customers and potential customers. And then the voice of the customer, VOC, everything that current and potential customers are saying and writing about the company. So then you make data-driven decisions based on all that information. Attributes, contribution given marketing activity makes to sales and other marketing goals. Okay, so one of the biggest ones is the Super Bowl. You know, all the commercials on the Super Bowl, how did they contribute, or what was their attributes, what is their attribution to the marketing activity, or to the sales based on the marketing activity, excuse me. So how much did they contribute, in other words? That's why the Super Bowl commercials cost $5 to $6 million, because they're considered to give great contribution towards the revenue of the organization, of the company, for that quarter. Marketing research is the collection and analysis of information for making marketing decisions based on observations, surveys, interviews, focus groups, to see what customers want and what they don't want. One of the biggest things that hurt the German cars way back in the day was that they had no cup holders. And Mercedes and BMW, president, vice president, CEOs said, why do you need cup holders? And Americans were like, we're going to buy cars with cup holders because we want a place to put our drink. And it took a long time for Mercedes and BMW to decide that they should put cup holders in their car because they didn't want to listen to the consumer. They thought you shouldn't be drinking anything while you're driving. Permission-based marketing, a marketing approach in which firms first ask permission to deliver a message to an audience and then promise to restrict the communications afterwards. You find this a lot on the internet if you'll sign up for their newsletter or things like that. Okay, AI enhanced marketing research. AI is artificial intelligence. So here's a whole list of observations, surveys, and interviews. And then you have process, data collection, experiments, ethnographic research, which is a branch of anthropology in which the person actually is in the environment of the consumer. So they may spend 6 months. Let's say your company wants to expand and go to Brazil. The person may spend 6 months in Brazil to learn the culture and the habits of the people, the potential buyers, the potential customers of the product. That would be an ethnographic research. And neuromarketing research that measures brain activity when customers are viewing or interacting with products, websites, or other elements to see if it's stimulating the brain or if they find it boring, basically. Just because they find it interesting doesn't mean they're going to buy it, but it's a way of saying whether they actually pay attention to it or not. And then consumer markets, individuals, households, and then organizational markets, companies, governments, ECU, those types of things. And then buyer decision making. If it's just an individual, the consumer, then you make the decision, or you and a significant other, or you and your parents, or you and your kids make the decision. If it's a organization, there's a whole process that goes along with it. But for you, it's just you perceive the need. Then should I make it? Is it a routine purchase or not? If it's not a routine purchase, then you go through establishing criteria of what you want to buy, collect information, evaluate alternatives, evaluate sources, make purchase, and evaluate the outcome. If it's a routine purchase, you just do what you normally do and buy it. Okay. Usually you don't go through this whole process if it's something that's very inexpensive. If it's something that you've never purchased before and it's considerable amount of money, and again, considerable again goes back to how much you make. If you make $10 an hour, something that's $50 is a considerable amount of money, and you may go through this whole process to decide whether you want to purchase it or not. Cognitive dissonance is the tension that exists when a person's beliefs don't match his or her behaviors. A common example is buyer's remorse, when someone regrets a purchase immediately after making it. Okay? So if you know that you really shouldn't buy another pair of shoes, but these shoes are really pretty and you want to buy them, or these boots are really good and you want to buy them, but you really don't need them, and you really should save the money for something more important, but you really want to buy them and you end up buying them, and the next day you have buyer's remorse. That's where a lot of returns come from, buyer's remorse. Purchase influences, culture, socioeconomic level, reference group, situational factors, and self-image. There is a reason why people will pay an extra $10,000 to have the Lexus symbol on their car instead of the Toyota symbol, even though they're made by the same people, same company. It's all about image. And do I want that image of a Toyota, or do I want the image of a Lexus? And then here's the organizational customer decision process that I already went over. Okay, and that'll do it for this chapter. I hope you all have a great day, and we will see you soon.